baddies, it's your girl Shaman. I'm back with another video. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you could be a baddie too. So before we get into my tips and tricks on how to heal your piercings fast, number one, disclaimer, I am not a professional piercer. If you ever have any questions, comments, or concerns about a piercing that you got done, it is always best to talk to the piercer, the person that did it. If you went to a sketchy piercer, do some research and find another piercer to talk to about it. You guys can ask me questions down in the comments below if you want, but like I said, I am not a professional piercer. Also, before we get into the tips and tricks, your body's healing time is not going to change. It's going to be what it is. However, these tips and tricks are to help you not agitate your body while it's trying to heal, thus helping it heal at the fastest rate that it's going to heal at. So if that sounds interesting, stay tuned. You got me, you got me, got me twisted. You got me twisted. Okay, so I do want to apologize if I keep looking down. I did take notes. I just want to make sure that I hit on everything. But with that being said, tip number one, go to a reputable piercer. This is probably one of the most important steps because it's going to set the tone for how your healing is going to go once you get home. You want to make sure that you go to a sanitary shop. You also want to look into things like their piercing method, making sure that they're using a piercing needle and not a piercing gun, the types of jewelry that they're using, the aftercare instructions that they give. All of these things are going to be very important. Oftentimes what I do is I will look up shops, you know, I type in like Neometal near me or like whatever. I usually type in the type of jewelry that I'm looking for to find a shop that may have it, and then what I'll do is I'll go on their website and I will go to, if it's a tattoo shop, they should have a section with piercers. If it's a piercing only shop, then like y'all know the vibes. So I'll go to the piercing section on the website and I will look at the work that they've done. I will see if there's any aftercare instructions on their website, if there's any information regarding the type of jewelry that they use, the type of piercings that they do, how long they've been doing it. Sometimes they'll put it in the bio as well. I look into all of that stuff, and then if their social media is on there, I go on their social media and I go to the shops page and I just keep looking at the work that that person does before I decide if I'm going to potentially trust them to do a piercing for me. If you guys have not seen my double forward helix video, I will put it right here. I went to a hole-in-the-wall shop when I got that done. I learned my lesson. I'm still upset about it, but they pierced my double forward helix with two curved barbells that pretty much were, they were eyebrow rings. Like, you know when people get their eyebrows done with the curved barbell, that's what they put in my double forward helix. And I'm just still upset about it because first of all, they were way too long to be in my double forward helix. Yes, you need long jewelry to account for swelling. My double forward helix was never going to get that big for them to have put that jewelry in that spot. Also, most people get their double forward helix done with a straight barbell done in it, not a curved one. Some people will get them done with hoops, but usually it's either a hoop or a straight barbell, not a curved one. So that was not the right jewelry at all whatsoever for that piercing. They also claimed it was some like hypoallergenic surgical stainless steel. It was mystery metal, okay? Another thing that you want to look at when you're looking at the photos that the piercer has either on the website or on their Instagram and stuff like that, you want to look at the angle and the placement that they're doing the piercings at. This is very important because if they pierce you at the wrong angle, it's probably not ever going to heal when you get home. It might, but you're going to have a hard time doing it if it's done at a really wonky angle. Same thing just with like placement. If you tell them you want your conch done and they're piercing like way out here, that's not your conch. You want to make sure that they know what they're doing. They know the terminology of what it is that you're asking for. Show them a picture if you need to, just to be clear. So yeah, starting with the piercer, that's going to set the tone for how the rest of your healing process is going to go. Tip number two, you want to make sure that you get quality jewelry. So I'm one of those people that I have a lot of metal sensitivities. Cheap jewelry is going to irritate my piercing it's not going to want to heal. It's not going to have a nice time healing with something cheap in it. The surgical stainless steel that I had in my double forward helix was not having it. My body was just like, what is this? It was mad that I had gotten the piercing done. Plus, I had these long curved barbells that were just moving around. It just was a hot mess. But getting back into the jewelry type, usually with the surgical stainless steel, I don't care what they say it is, 9 times out of 10 there's like small trace amounts of just like other unaccounted for metals that are so small that they will like still pass it as being body safe. But if you have a sensitivity to metals like I do, small amounts like that could make a big difference in your healing process. The second type of jewelry that you want to stay away from is gold plated. Anything plated, to be honest, because the plating can rub off if, well, I was gonna say if the jewelry isn't done correctly, but even if it is done correctly and it's done with like really good quality plating, it still is plated. It's going to tarnish eventually. It might not tarnish right away, but you don't want anything tarnishing in your fresh healing piercing, okay? Now, if you want to put some gold plated in it after it's fully healed, knock yourself out. While you're trying to heal it, I definitely don't recommend it. Also, acrylic. Stay away from acrylic. I know the first thing you want to do when it's time to change the jewelry is like start putting all these fun neon colors in it. That's really the big thing about acrylic, is that like the colors, especially for younger people, really attract them. Acrylic is porous. If you have a healing piercing and you're putting something porous in it, guess what it's going to do? It's literally going to adhere to your skin. It's going to stick together like glue. And then when you try to take the jewelry out, it's going to be stuck. And you're probably going to have to rip it out and rip your skin. You know what I mean? Like, you just don't want to do that. So make sure that you get quality jewelry. I personally prefer titanium implant grade jewelry. Implant grade titanium. Neo metal or nano metal. That's what works best for me and my body when I'm healing my piercings. And also, it's the cheaper option. You can also get real gold jewelry. A lot of people get your piercings initially done with gold. I can't afford that. So I will be rocking the titanium jewelry. That is what I like to get. You can get the titanium anodized, I want to say is the word. Yeah, anodized. I get it mixed up between iodized and but it's anodized. You can get it anodized to whatever color you want. So when me and Brianna went to go get our piercings in July, she got her nose done. We both got titanium. And she was really looking at the gold. She's like, man, like, her skin tone looks really pretty with gold, by the way. But she's like, you know, I really want the gold because that's what looks best with her skin tone. And I had a light bulb in my head, and I'm like, can't you? And I said, iodize it. I'm like, can't you iodize it? And she kind of looked at me funny. And I'm like, you know, like, make it gold. And she was like, oh, anodized. I'm like, yeah. So she anodized her, her nose stud to look gold, even though it's still titanium. And you could get that look the same way. So that's a cheaper option if you prefer gold and can't afford it like me. So, tip number 3. Leave your piercing alone. I know you're going to want to touch it. You want to play with it. You want to spin it around. We tend to want to overstimulate ourselves with new exciting things. Like, for example, I just bought a new Apple Watch. Now my obsession is buying Apple Watch bands. Overstimulating myself with the new thing that I bought. Same thing with piercings. You get a new piercing, a new shiny hole in your ear, and you're like, ooh, I just want to play with it and I want to show everybody. Leave it alone. Don't touch it. All you're going to do is irritate it. Especially the first like couple of weeks, your body is building a scab around the jewelry. If you start twisting the jewelry or pushing it back and forth, you're ripping that scab. And then your body's going to be like, girl, we just did all of this work to build this scab to try to heal it, and you ripped it off. And now we got to start all over. You're going to make things worse for yourself. So just don't touch it. Also, I hate to admit it because I'm a germaphobe, but we have germs on our hands 24/7. I don't care how good you clean them. You don't want to be playing with your jewelry 24/7 because you can risk giving yourself an infection that way. Ain't no telling what type of germs is crawling up underneath your nails. And if you just sitting there constantly playing with the new piercing that's healing and you got germs on your hands that you didn't think you had because you thought you did a good job washing them, infection. You don't want to do that to yourself. So just leave it alone. Tip number 4, cleaning it. Standard practice is twice a day. Cleaning it too much is going to disrupt your body's healing process. Similar to playing with it and like constantly pulling the scab off, cleaning it too much is going to constantly like pull the scab off. It's not going to allow your body the time that it needs to actually start healing it, because you keep wiping at it and wiping at it and wiping at it. Just leave it alone. There are good germs and there are bad germs, so you want to kind of get a good balance of both. So cleaning it too much is going to clean off the good germs a little bit too much. Cleaning it too little is not going to clean off the bad germs enough, which can lead to infection. Also, with cleaning it too little, when you get piercings, other than like your lobes, when you start getting like cartilage piercings and stuff, they kind of ooze, I want to say it's plasma. So when you don't clean it, there's like this yellowy dry residue that's on the jewelry that you have to kind of like clean off. If you don't clean it for a long time, it gets built up really bad and really gunky, and it looks really disgusting. So you want to make sure that you're cleaning it twice a day. And I always try to make sure that if I see any of the buildup on my jewelry, that I clean it off as well. I have like a sewing needle that I use to just kind of scrape it off the bottom of my jewelry. So that's what I do to get rid of mine, because sometimes a Q-tip just doesn't get it. But you definitely want to make sure that you're cleaning it at least twice a day. Like I said, too little, you're going to get buildup, it's going to be gunky, it's going to be nasty, and you could risk getting an infection because you're not cleaning off the bad germs that need to be cleaned off. Also, with cleaning, you want to make sure that you are trying to keep your piercing as sanitary as possible. No swimming. You cannot control the contents of that water, so you don't want to be putting a fresh healing piercing in just mystery water with everybody's germs. No pets in bed. Now, we don't really tend to have that problem, but no pets in bed, okay? The pet dander, the pet fur could get in your piercing, or like even contact your piercing and risk getting infection. Why? Because pets are on the floor 24/7. They outside, they eating the grass, they licking they parts that they shouldn't be licking. You just, okay, make sure you have clean bedding, nice clean fresh sheets. Sleep on that. Don't sleep on, you know, bedding that's full of pet hair. Tip number 5, okay, downsize whenever possible, especially when it's necessary. So like they told me to downsize my snug at 6 weeks. If you guys have not seen my snug videos, I will put them back to back to back up in here in the corner. The video of my 3-month update is where I was discussing me needing to downsize my snug because I kept hitting it and then I had the bumps, and then the bumps would go down and then I would hit it again and then the bumps would come back. So it's important to downsize the jewelry once the initial swelling has gone down, so that you don't have this long piece of jewelry in your ear that you keep hitting and snagging and causing further irritation. You want to downsize it to get it out the way. So I downsized my snug maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago at this point, and this is not going to be the final jewelry. My wig isn't on my head all the way, okay? This isn't going to be the final jewelry in my snug. I still need to downsize it one more time, if you guys can see all of the extra. So I'm gonna end up downsizing this twice, but it's important that you downsize it whenever necessary. It's not time for me to downsize this just yet, because it still gets irritated with me if I sleep on it funny or if I hit it too hard, and it'll kind of swell up and take up the extra space on this bar. So you don't want to downsize it too soon, but whenever the initial swelling goes down, you do want to downsize it to a more reasonable length so that you're not continuing to agitate it. Tip number 6. This one's also important too. Listen to your body. Your body will tell you if you're doing something that it doesn't like. So for example, me sleeping on my snug, I slept on it. Usually I sleep on like the front half of my face. One of these nights I slept on the back half of my face, so like my ear, and when I woke up, my snug was mad. It was swollen, it was irritated. Like I said, it took up most of the space on the bar because it had swollen up. So what did I do? I had to force myself to sleep on this side for 2 or 3 nights and not sleep on this side just to let the swelling go down. So your body will tell you if you're doing something that's irritating it. If you're constantly playing with the jewelry and your piercing is red and it's irritated or it's infected, stop touching it. Like things like that. Your body will literally tell you, hey, you did this and I don't like it and here's the response. Listen to it and make sure that you stop doing whatever it is. That will allow your body the time to focus on healing instead of focusing on reacting because you're irritating it. But anytime you do have any, like, I would say excessive irritation with your piercing, always just, you know, double check with your piercer to make sure that everything is going okay. And, you know, have a dialogue with them. If you're sleeping on it a certain type of way or just whatever, if the jewelry is irritating, if it's too long, just whatever, like whatever you need, talk to your piercer about. And they should be able to guide you the proper way. If you researched a reputable piercer, they should be able to lead you the proper way to getting your healing back on track. So that is all I have for you guys. Hopefully you guys liked the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you got to the end of the video and you have not subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. Also click the bell notification so that you get notified when I post every Sunday at 5 p.m. Give me a big thumbs up or leave a comment down below if you like this type of content. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns about piercings, I can help you. Again, I'm not a reputable piercer. I'm just somebody that has a couple of piercings and y'all seem to like my piercing videos. So that's why we're here. While you're down there in my comment section, there is a link in my description for my music. I do sing, okay? If you guys have the time, please go listen to my music. Come back, let me know if you like it. Follow me on social media at Sham the Baddest. And other than that, I will see you on the next video. Bye.